There is a tin sitting in your cupboard right now that could feed you better than half the ready meals in the chiller aisle, and it costs less than the bus fare into town. Tinned fish kept a whole generation fed through rationing, and today it quietly does the same for anyone cooking for one on a pension. No chopping, no waste, no standing at the hob for an hour when you only want a plate for yourself. Just protein, omega-3, and calcium that costs pennies a portion. Number 7 on this list is what my own Nan swore kept her hips strong into her 90s. And number 1 is the simplest supper in Britain, yet 9 in 10 people ruin it. Let us count down all 25. Number 25, tuna and sweet corn jacket potato. Scrub 1 potato, prick it with a fork, and let the oven do everything while you put your feet up. 45 minutes later, you split it open, and in goes a tin of tuna, drained, a spoon of sweet corn, and a dab of mayonnaise or butter. A tin of tuna costs around 70 pence and gives you 2 suppers, so the fish works out at 35 pence a plate. The potato is maybe 20 pence. For under £1, you get a hot, filling meal with more protein than a supermarket sandwich costing 3 times as much. No pans to scrub either, just a fork and a plate. For anyone whose hands ache at the sink of an evening, that matters as much as the price. Number 24, sardine pâté with crackers. When you cannot face cooking, this takes 90 seconds and feels like something you would pay for in a cafe. Tip a tin of sardines, bones and all, into a bowl. Mash them with a fork, a squeeze of lemon, a knob of butter or a spoon of cream cheese, and a twist of black pepper. Spread it thick on crackers or toast. The bones mash down to nothing and carry the calcium your bones want as the years go on. A tin of sardines runs about 75 pence and makes enough for 2 or 3 sittings. Keep the rest covered in the fridge, and it waits patiently for tomorrow. Light, easy on the teeth, and gentle on a small appetite that does not always want a full dinner. Number 23, roll mop herrings with bread and butter. Straight from the jar, no cooking at all, and a proper old-fashioned tea. Roll mops are herring fillets soured in vinegar and rolled around a sliver of onion. You lift one out, lay it on buttered bread, and that is supper. The sharpness wakes up a tired palate, and herring is one of the richest fish there is for omega-3, which the doctors will tell you is good for the heart and the joints. A jar costs around £1 and holds several fillets, so each little meal is a matter of pennies. For a warm evening when the oven feels like too much bother, a roll mop and a slice of bread is a meal your grandparents would recognize in a heartbeat. Number 22, tuna mayonnaise sandwich. Never underestimate what a tin of tuna and 2 slices of bread can do. Drain the tuna, mash it with mayonnaise, a pinch of pepper, and a little chopped onion or cucumber if you have it. Pile it between bread and press down. That is lunch, and a good one. It travels to a park bench, sits happily beside a cup of tea, and asks nothing of you but a fork. Half a tin makes a generous round, so you are looking at 35 pence of fish and a few pence of bread. Compare that to the £2 a shop sandwich now costs, made with a whisper of tuna and mostly mayonnaise. Doing it yourself, you decide how much fish goes in, and your version wins every time. Number 21, mackerel salad. Tinned mackerel fillets come already cooked and full of flavor, so this is assembly, not cooking. Flake a tin of mackerel over a plate of whatever salad leaves, tomato, and cucumber you have in. A drizzle of vinegar or salad cream finishes it. Mackerel is oily in the best way, packed with omega-3 and vitamin D, the very things older bodies struggle to get enough of through a British winter. A tin costs around £1, and one tin is a full, satisfying plate for one. There is no heat, no washing up beyond a plate, and no half-used ingredients left to go off in the fridge. It sits light in the stomach on a warm evening, yet leaves you properly fed. Number 20. Anchovies on toast. A tiny tin of anchovies is one of the cheapest ways to make plain toast taste like a treat. Lay 2 or 3 fillets across hot buttered toast and let the salt do the work. They are strong, so a little goes a long way, which means one small tin costing under £1 stretches across many suppers. That saltiness can coax an appetite back on days when nothing else appeals, and for someone eating alone, a bite that actually tastes of something is worth a great deal. Add a sliced tomato or a poached egg on top, and you have turned a snack into a small meal. Keep the tin in the cupboard for the evenings, when even opening the fridge feels like effort. Number 19. Salmon and cucumber sandwich. Tinned salmon feels like a bit of luxury, and yet it is still cheap enough for every day. Drain a small tin of pink salmon, flake it with a fork, mash the soft little bones right in for the calcium, and mix with a spoon of mayonnaise. Layer it with thin cucumber between buttered bread. It is the sandwich of church fetes and Sunday teas, and it tastes exactly as comforting as you remember. A tin of pink salmon costs around £1.50 and makes 2 or 3 rounds. Salmon carries the same heart-friendly oils as the pricier fresh fillets at a fraction of the cost. For anyone who grew up on this, one bite is a warm memory, and warmth matters when you are eating on your own. Number 18. Tuna omelette. 2 eggs and half a tin of tuna make a hot, protein-rich supper in under 10 minutes in a single pan. Beat the eggs, pour them into a hot, buttered pan, scatter the drained tuna over the top, and fold it as it sets. Eggs are among the cheapest protein there is. Tuna is 35p for half a tin, and together they cost well under £1. Soft, easy to eat, and gentle on tender teeth. It fills you without sitting heavy, which is just what you want of an evening. 1 pan, 1 plate, 1 fork, and you are done. On the nights when you want something cooked and warm but cannot manage a proper production, this is the answer. Number 17. Pilchards in tomato sauce on toast. Pilchards are the great forgotten bargain of the fish aisle, larger cousins of the sardine, sold in a rich tomato sauce for about 80p a tin. Tip them onto hot buttered toast, mash them gently so the sauce soaks in, and warm the lot under the grill for a minute, if you fancy it hot. 1 tin is a full and honest supper for one, no adding required. The soft bones give you calcium, the fish gives you omega-3, and the tomato sauce means you do not even need a side. This is a meal that fed miners and mill workers, and it will fill you just as well now for the price of a first-class stamp. Number 16. Mackerel on a jacket potato. Same easy jacket potato as before, but this time you flake a tin of peppered or plain mackerel over the fluffy middle with a knob of butter. The oil from the fish melts into the hot potato and needs no sauce at all. It is one of the most filling meals on this whole list and costs perhaps £1 all in. The oven does the labor while you rest, and mackerel is about the best value oily fish in any British supermarket. For a cold night, a hot split potato steaming under a pile of rich mackerel is the sort of supper that warms you through and asks almost nothing of your purse or your energy. Number 15. Tuna nicoise. This sounds fancy, but it is really just a clever way of using up what is in the kitchen. Boil an egg and a couple of small potatoes, let them cool, then arrange them on a plate with a drained tin of tuna, a spoon of tinned green beans, and a few olives if you have them. A splash of oil and vinegar over the top. It is a proper plateful, cool and fresh, ideal when the weather turns warm and a hot dinner feels like too much. Everything but the egg comes from a tin or the cupboard, so nothing spoils and nothing is wasted. For well under £1, you get a balanced meal with protein, vegetables and good fats, the sort of thing that keeps an older body ticking along nicely. Number 14. Curried mackerel. A tin of mackerel already comes in curry sauce in most shops, and it is a small miracle for around £1. Warm it gently in a pan or even in the microwave and spoon it over rice or into a split jacket potato. The spice is mild and warming rather than fierce, easy on a sensitive stomach, and it turns a humble tin into something that feels like a real dinner. If you buy plain mackerel instead, half a teaspoon of curry powder stirred through does the same job. Rice keeps for months in the cupboard and costs pennies a portion. This is a hot, fragrant, filling meal for one that takes 5 minutes and leaves the kitchen smelling far grander than the bill suggests. Number 13. Sardine and tomato spaghetti. Here is a whole hot dinner for around 90 pence. Boil a nest of spaghetti, and while it cooks, tip a tin of sardines in tomato sauce into a pan and warm it through, breaking the fish up with your spoon. Drain the pasta, stir the sardines through, and add a shake of pepper. The sauce coats every strand, and the soft bones vanish into it entirely, quietly delivering their calcium. It is the kind of quick supper Italian grandmothers have made for a century, and it works just as well in a British kitchen. 1 tin and a handful of pasta feed one person generously with real Mediterranean goodness for less than the change in your coat pocket. Number 12. Smoked mackerel pot. Smoked mackerel comes in tins and vacuum packs, and it makes a part that would not look out of place at a dinner party. Flake it into a bowl, mash it with a spoon of cream cheese or crème fraîche, a squeeze of lemon, and a good grind of pepper. Spread it thick on toast or crackers. It keeps a few days in the fridge, so one preparation gives you several easy suppers or snacks, which is exactly what you want when cooking every single evening is a chore. Rich, smoky, and soft to eat, it slips down easily on days when appetite is low. A pack costs around £1.50 and delivers all that heart-friendly oil in a form that feels like a genuine indulgence. Number 11. Salmon fish cakes. When you have a leftover boiled potato, this turns a tin of salmon into something special. Mash the potato, flake in a tin of pink salmon, bones and all. Add a pinch of pepper and a little parsley, and shape into 2 patties. Fry them gently in a little oil until golden on each side. They cost perhaps 80 pence for the pair and freeze beautifully, so you can make a batch and keep some for a night when you cannot be bothered. Crisp outside, soft inside, and full of the calcium those soft bones provide. A fish cake with a spoon of peas beside it is a complete comforting dinner, the sort of thing that makes eating alone feel a little less lonely. Number 10. Tuna melt. Toast a slice of bread, pile drained tuna and a little mayonnaise on top, lay a slice of cheese over it, and slide it under the grill until it bubbles golden. That melting cheese over warm tuna is pure comfort, and it costs under 70 pence. It is hot, quick, and needs only a grill pan and a plate. For anyone whose appetite comes and goes, the smell of it under the grill is often enough to bring hunger back. Cheese adds a little more calcium and protein to the tuna, making it a properly sustaining supper rather than just a snack. On a grey evening when you want something warm and cheering with almost no effort, few things beat a tuna melt. Number 9. Kipper for tea. The old boil-in-the-bag kipper, or a tin of kipper fillets, is one of Britain's great cheap teas. Warm it through in simmering water or the microwave, lift it onto a plate with a knob of butter melting over the top, and eat it with brown bread. Kippers are smoked herring, dense with omega-3 and vitamin D, and they cost around £1. The flavor is strong and satisfying, the sort of proper tea that reminds many people of their own parents' kitchens. There is barely any washing up, and the fish is already cooked, so all you are really doing is warming it. A kipper, buttered bread, and a pot of tea is a small ritual that turns a quiet evening into a proper meal. Number 8. Tuna and butter bean salad. A tin of tuna and a tin of butter beans make a hearty filling plate that keeps you going for hours, for well under £1. Drain both, tip them into a bowl, add a splash of oil and vinegar, a little chopped onion, and plenty of pepper. The beans bring fiber and slow-release energy. The tuna brings protein, and together they sit far more satisfyingly than fish alone. Nothing needs cooking, nothing gets wasted, and both tins keep for years in the cupboard against the days you cannot get to the shops. For anyone watching the Pennies and wanting to feel genuinely full, this is one of the best value plates on the whole list. Make extra, and it is just as good cold the next day. Number 7. Herring in mustard sauce with new potatoes. Tinned herring in a creamy mustard sauce is a Scandinavian trick that fits a British table perfectly. Boil a few small potatoes, tip the herring and its sauce over the top while they are still warm, and let the sauce loosen into them. A pot of herrings costs around £1 and gives you the richest omega-3 of almost any fish in the shop. This is the meal my own Nan swore by, and she reckoned it kept her hips strong into her 90s, which the science on omega-3 and vitamin D rather backs up. It is soft, warm, and gentle to eat, needs one small pan, and delivers a genuinely nourishing dinner for the price of a newspaper. Number 6. Pilchard curry with rice. Turn an 80p tin of pilchards into a fragrant curry that feels like a takeaway. Soften a little onion in a pan, stir in half a teaspoon of curry powder, tip in the pilchards with their tomato sauce, and warm it through while a handful of rice boils alongside. The tomato sauce that comes in the tin does half the work of the curry base for you. Spooned over rice, it is a hot, spiced, filling dinner for around £1, ready in the time it takes the rice to cook. The spices are warming without being harsh, kind to an older stomach, and the smell alone lifts a quiet kitchen. It is proof that eating well alone need never be dull or dear. Number 5. Fish paste sandwiches. A little jar of fish or salmon paste is one of the oldest, cheapest suppers in Britain, and it still sits on the shelf for well under £1. Spread it thin on buttered bread, and that is tea. No cooking, no fuss, no washing up beyond a knife. A single jar makes round after round after round, so the cost per sandwich drops to pennies. For anyone with a small appetite, a fish paste sandwich and a cup of tea is often exactly enough. And there is real comfort in a taste that has not changed since childhood. It keeps for weeks in the fridge once opened, ready whenever you fancy it, which makes it one of the most reliable standbys a cupboard can hold. Number 4. Tinned salmon kedgeree. This is the grand old breakfast for supper of British kitchens, and a tin of salmon does the job beautifully. Boil rice with a pinch of curry powder, stir in a tin of flaked pink salmon and a chopped boiled egg, and finish with a little butter and pepper. The result is warm, golden, mildly spiced, and deeply comforting. The sort of dish that feels like a proper effort while costing barely £1. Everything comes from the cupboard, so you can make it on a day when the shops are shut and the weather is against you. Soft and easy to eat, rich in protein and good oils, it is a one-pot supper that leaves you full and content with only a single pan waiting in the sink. Number 3. Tuna pasta bake. For a hot dinner that fills the house with a good smell, few things beat this. Boil a portion of pasta, stir through a tin of drained tuna and a tin of condensed soup or a spoon of tomato sauce. Tip it into a small dish, scatter a little cheese on top, and bake until it bubbles golden. The whole thing costs around £1 and can be split into 2 dinners, so tomorrow looks after itself. It reheats perfectly, which is a gift when cooking every evening feels like a mountain. Warm, cheesy, and satisfying, it is the kind of dinner that makes a house feel lived in and cared for. For anyone eating alone who misses a proper hot meal, this brings it back with almost no effort. Number 2. Tinned salmon salad supper. This is Sunday tea in a single plate, and it feels far grander than its price. Turn a tin of red or pink salmon onto a plate, keeping it in a neat piece, and surround it with sliced tomato, cucumber, a boiled egg, and a spoon of salad cream. Bread and butter on the side. A tin of salmon costs around £1.50 and makes one generous celebratory plate. There is no cooking beyond the egg, nothing to wash but a plate, and yet it looks like something you would be proud to serve a guest. Eating well alone is partly about the plate looking worth sitting down to, and this one always does. It is dignity and nourishment for the change in your pocket. Number 1. Sardines on toast. The simplest supper in Britain, and the one 9 in 10 people rush. Toast the bread properly and butter it while it is hot. Tip a tin of sardines onto it, mash them gently so the oil soaks right into the toast, and finish with a squeeze of lemon and a good grind of pepper. Warm it under the grill for a minute if you like it hot. That is the whole trick, and it costs 75p for a supper that gives you protein, omega-3, vitamin D, and a proper dose of calcium from the soft little bones. It has fed this country through hard times and good, and it still does the job better than anything the chiller aisle can sell you. 1 tin, 1 slice, 1 plate, and you have eaten like a king for the price of pennies. There you have it, 25 tinned fish dinners that prove eating well on your own never has to cost the earth. Pick one this week, keep a few tins in the cupboard for the days you cannot get out, and you will never be more than 5 minutes from a good hot meal. Tell me in the comments which one you are trying first, and let me know if your Nan had a tinned fish trick of her own.